Hello, welcome to Actual Play for the Queen. We are here for the fourth session of this current round, and I'm super excited about playing with all of you. Tonight we'll be playing for a couple hours. This is Alex Roberts for the Queen, and if you've seen shows before, this will be totally different than those, and if you haven't, then you're in the right place because you're getting for a treat. I'm with some really, really wonderful people, and we'll just introduce ourselves. What are you up to, Jen?
I'm Jen Martin. My pronouns are she and her. I was working on a space hack of Fall of Magic called Autumn of the Ancients, but it is sort of since morphed into a different game entirely that we're still sort of exploring. And I finished working on a cyberpunk game called My Little Demon, which I'm very excited about, which will be in Resistor Volume 3, although I don't know when that's supposed to drop yet. But I'm super excited about it.
That game looks so good.
I know. No.
Adam's layout is
Kira
amazing.
told me that it looks like two-player Monster Hearts, and it was the best compliment I've ever received in my whole life.
That's good.
So yeah, I'm real excited about it. Darcy, what about you?
Hey, everybody. I'm Darcy Ross. My pronouns are she, her. And I have been in a whirlwind of con season and just got back from PAX Unplugged, where I got to meet a bunch of really, really great streamers who are streaming like Monte Cook games, and lots of other things. And I got to gush about a lot of my favorite games to people. And so I'm sort of in a whirlwind of all that energy and coming back down to earth and starting to spread my tendrils out to like hopefully supporting cool community projects again, which is what I love to do. So that's where I've been at, and now I get to like sit down and rest a bit and play some games and hopefully have my heart torn out from my chest and stomped on. I think that's what I was signing up for.
I mean, I feel like it's an option. It's decidedly an option. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. And I'm so excited to get to play with this crew. Oh my goodness. So good. So Ash, why don't you tell us about what you've been up to?
Sweet, for sure. As I told you on Twitter, I brought all of my beautiful heart wrenches, so I've got them ready to go. I polished them. Just
all the different sizes.
That's
like,
right.
You like opening up the socket wrench.
I've got one of those big, the sets you get at the holidays, like
Mhm.
the full box set. Hi, I'm Ash Cheshire. I use the pronouns they and them. And I'm pretty psyched. I just gave my patrons on Patreon the first playtest version of my game Weasels Are Illegal, which is a gonzo game where you play a cluster of weasels in a trench coat pretending to be a human. I think one of the best things I've heard so far from some of the current playtesters is one group decided that their human needed a name, and so they when they're in the trench coat they refer to themselves as Norm Malman.
Good.
So, oh wow!
Yeah, it delighted me.
That is awesome. I'm Sean Nittner. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm mostly here right now. I've been streaming like bonkers. We have got this is the last game for the Queen, but starting next week we will be back to running Agon playtests and probably more Burning Wheel, and then next week we have Coven. Which is going to be a game about witches with real life witches. I'm very excited. That'll be on the 12th. So yeah, tons of good stuff here. But instead of talking about all the other things, I want to talk about this game we're gonna play. This really, really cool game called For the Queen. There we go. Awesome. Here's our lovely screen. So we've talked a little bit before, and we sort of know what's going on, but we're going to read the instructions so everybody can see how to play it, and we'll also learn how to play it. There's a couple instructions that don't quite work exactly the same on Roll20, and so I might interrupt occasionally to say how they work. But Jen, you want to? Oh wait, I need to do the thing that I was doing. Jen, do you want to read the first of the instructions?
I do. Excuse me. Go around the table clockwise, taking turns reading these cards aloud.
The land you is it okay if I go on, Sean?
Yes, yeah, perfect.
Cool. The land you live in has been at war for as long as any of you have been alive.
You're up, Ash. Oh, you're muted, Ash.
Sorry.
This would be a great time for me to share with everyone else that this is my first time doing this.
Welcome. No worries at all. And yes, everybody, this is Ash's first time, so let's be, not that we're not always nice, but we'll be extra nice.
Yes, thank you. So the Queen has decided to undertake a long and perilous journey to broker an alliance with a distant power.
Whoops, I clicked the wrong card. I'm good at this. I'm a professional. The Queen has chosen all of you and no one else to be her retinue and accompany her on this journey.
She chose you because she knows that you love her.
You're welcome to look through the Queen cards for inspiration. If there is one that seems right for the group, place it on the table to inspire your story.
We're going to do that after we do the instructions so that we're not juggling 2 decks at once.
Got it. That sounds good.
Set the card that reads, "The Queen is under attack. Do you defend her?" aside.
Ooh.
Through magic of Roll20, I have already done that. Shuffle the red prompt cards and place them face down in the center of the table. They have been shuffled.
Put the Queen is under attack card in the middle of the deck for a game that takes approximately 30 minutes, or shuffle it into the bottom third of the deck to play for an hour or more.
That's where we're at.
I like that. When you've read the instruction cards, such as these, continue clockwise with the red prompt cards. Take turns reading the questions out loud. Interpret these questions and answer them however you wish.
Other players may ask you questions or make suggestions on your turn, but whether you answer those questions or include those suggestions is entirely up to you.
Place an X card somewhere everyone can reach it. So we have an X card on our tableau here, and there's a couple different ways that we can use it. One of them is you can, if you just click with your cursor down and hold down, a little circle will appear. That's a method, but we may not always be looking there, and that might not always happen. So we can also use sort of signal it on the camera by just putting an X up or a little X up, or we can say I want to X that, or just I don't want to include that, because any of our like normal human words are also totally valid. And so even if you don't get the tool exactly right, any content, we can X stuff any way that we like, any way that we feel comfortable with.
If you encounter a card or an answer that you don't want to be included in the game, tap the X card. That content is removed from the game.
If you draw a card that is removed this way, simply draw another card. You can X a card that you drew yourself. Ash, you're muted, sorry.
Thank you. You can also pass on your turn. To do so, give the prompt card you drew to the next player and say, "I'd like to hear your answer to this question."
The prompt card can be passed around the table until someone applies the X card to it.
Continue answering, passing, and Xing questions until the Queen is under attack card is drawn.
Each player should answer that question in turn. Then the game is over.
Whoever wants to can draw the first prompt card.
And there are the instructions. Right. I'm going to hide the instruction deck now. And as far as queens go, how are people feeling? Would you like visual inspiration, or would you like to leave the queen entirely to our imagination?
Ooh. I like visuals, if you have some interesting ones.
We have some beautiful ones. How about I draw like 3, and then we see if any of those inspire us?
That sounds really good.
Great.
If not, we can toss them and draw up any more.
Ooh.
Cool. I believe these are, as we name them, the reigning queen, the aloof queen, and the wet-eyed queen. Any of these inspire anyone? And if not, we have lots more. I just don't want to overwhelm with too many images all at once.
Mhm. I'm super digging the fashion on the far left
Indeed.
and the stature.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
far
reading
left or
queen.
center.
Yeah.
I have some strong draws towards the one on the right, not as much tonight for some reason.
No problem.
Usually an aesthetic I enjoy, but
Mhm.
Cool. Awesome. Well, then there we go. I'm making make it similar. Yeah, I am. I dig like the gold and red resplendent and she looks. I mean, a lot of these queens have sort of a sort of a sinister look to them, and to me, she doesn't. To me, I
Right.
like see her as like very hopeful and whatnot. Whereas the
Yeah.
queen that's now on the right, I feel like has got like.
I mean, there's no
going
way
on.
this queen is going to betray our love for her.
No, there's no way. There's no way that she would ever do anything
Untoward.
Yeah,
untoward.
I'm already feeling a lot of loyalty for the queen on the left.
Okay, cool. Let's do the reigning queen.
Is that
then.
okay, Jen?
Oh, yeah.
You feeling it? Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic. See if I can be like even fancier and get the artist information. Nope, I can't because I don't have it up. I'll pull it up in due time. Cool, awesome. So there's our queen. I'm gonna hide the queen's deck, and so now,
Sean, I can see it. I can get to the red deck now.
Oh, yay! Awesome,
Great.
fantastic. Well, there we go. Now, so I was gonna say anybody but Jen can draw a card,
Yeah.
can go first, but apparently,
Roll20 doesn't want to let me have multiple decks, apparently. But if you just
if I only have one, that's
only have
okay.
one option that I can see, then apparently it's fine.
Cool. Yeah, the reigning queen was made by Denise.
Oh, I'm the first
Jones.
too, right? So
If you want to be, yeah, whoever wants to go first can draw the first one. So,
does anybody have a burning desire to go first? Otherwise, I can. I
Yeah,
don't
go
have
for
strong
it, Jen.
feelings about it.
I think
either.
you should do it, Jen.
All right. Draw one card.
Chat was also agreeing with us that the left Rourke and chat was like left queen was the way to go.
Rourke knows what's up.
Hey, Ken.
All right. When was the last time the queen showed you real kindness? Yeah. So, I think that it was maybe several weeks ago. I think that I see the queen kind of infrequently, and we just sort of were doing, maybe let's say we were doing business, and she chose the business I was offering over someone else's. I'm not totally sure what that is yet, and I don't know that I need to.
Are you seeing yourself as a merchant or someone that was like an advisor?
I don't. Yeah, maybe more of like an advisor. I kind of am seeing my character more as like, sort of like a broker, like a go-between person. I don't know that I'm selling anything specifically myself. Yeah.
Cool. And how did she show you real kindness? Was it taking your offer rather than someone else's?
I think it was taking my offer, but it was in a rather like sort of public showy way where she kind of shamed the other person, the other competitor. So that it would probably, like, the way that she did it was a way that would like get me more business in the future from other people.
Oh, nice.
And she did not have to do that. Like, that was it, or at least it looked entirely voluntary to me. So I thought that was very kind of her.
Is that a normal sort of thing for her to do? Like make these big displays? Or is this...
I think she does it sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't see her as being like super austere and like sort of stone faced. Like, I do think that she does show emotion and show kindness, but not like excessively so.
Mm-hmm.
There's a question from chat that is very interesting to me.
Yeah, me too.
Fictional Mammal asking, did she wear a brooch of your making?
Oh my God, Andy.
Andy just killing
Oh
it
my
all the way from
God,
chat.
Andy. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes because that's amazing. I made a brooch, and she and gave it to her. Like that wasn't even like my business, but like the day that she showed up to sign the papers or whatever, that's what she was wearing. Yes.
Oh,
Nice. Like everybody knew who she was going to pick already because she was wearing the brooch, or everyone who was like in the brooch game.
In the brooch game, yeah, the big players, all the major players were there. Was it? Is it just like a beautiful, like gemmed thing, or is it in the shape of some sort of like creature or symbol?
That's a really great question. I think it is. I think it's gems. Yeah, I think it's like a mix of like some cut gems and some rough ones, and kind of in like sort of a mix of like geometric / organic, like melding style.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
Dig it. All right. Darcy, I think the next card is yours.
So I'm going to draw a card and put it yonder. There is someone else in this retinue you love besides the queen. How and why are you keeping it a secret?
Scandalous.
Okay, so just to clarify, since this is my first time playing this, we all share the queen. She has sent us all on different missions, basically, right? Or
no, we are on one journey with her, and it's just us. It's the only people on the journey are the 5 of us.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's one of you that I love.
Yes. Has to be.
Oh, goodness.
We are the entirety of the retinue. I mean, besides the queen, but this card.
Besides the queen. Okay. All right. I'm going to pick someone who has not established anything about their character yet. I'm just going to, so we can fill in the blanks as we go.
Yeah.
So I am in love with Ash's character. How and why am I keeping it a secret? So while I sing and I tell stories and I'm really effusive and I have all, I'm really bubbly, I sort of manufactured an air of like disliking Ash's character. And I get really quiet around you and I get cold. And and so I am I'm trying to keep it a secret. And the why is that I can't is that the queen means everything to me and this love is traitorous and I am uncomfortable with it in myself. And so I am trying to stifle it as best I can and, smother the air out of it. But we will find out if I am successful. Yeah. But, I've built my identity around the queen being so important to me.
Is it traitorous for you? Is it is it that you believe that you should love the queen and only the queen, or is it actually a law that like you could not, those in a retinue cannot find love with each other?
Ooh,
like no intra palace hookups.
Yeah, right. Like
maybe there's some weird like religious edict, right? Mm-hmm. That I'm kind of interested in coming against some kind of law, whether it's cultural or legal or religious.
Yeah. Are you sworn to the queen in some way that makes it so that you are chaste except for to her pleasure or to her?
Yeah, I think whatever order I came from, right? Like it, I'm from some sort of like musical or bardic order, right? And like we get sort of assigned to a member of royalty and like that is our assignment, right? Like we are your person. We're going to tell your stories and tell you stories and we are not allowed to see anyone else. So I think it is traitorous to that.
Nice. Does Ash's character know that you have these feelings?
I'm going to leave that in Ash's hands.
Okay.
I think my character desperately hopes they don't. But,
I'm going to leave it undefined for now.
Awesome.
Cool. Is it your turn? If anyone else has questions, but otherwise, I'm really curious to know what Ash draws next.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I will draw a prompt card. Draw one prompt card. And
Oh, if you click draw, it puts it like in your hand.
put it in my hand. It sure did.
Yeah.
If you just sort of drag it, it'll put it onto the deck. But you should still be able to go like click on your name in Roll20, and then there it is. Awesome.
All right. What do you do to disappoint the queen on this journey?
Oh no.
Yeah, I really let her down. So this was a bit of a she told me when she asked me to come that it was more my company and my loyalty that she wanted on this trip and this voyage, and less my experience or my skill, and that she really only had one thing that she needed me to prepare ahead of time, and I didn't get it done, and I rushed it at the end. I did. There were some documents that she needed transcribed, and I put it off, and I was afraid of letting her down, which is why I put it off. But then, of course,
I was just gonna say, what could possibly have been more important than
my anxiety?
Your anxiety.
To me. And I would go in and I would sit and look at them, and I would get my parchment ready, and I would prep my ink, and I would have all my quills, and then I would just not be ready. Okay, I need to go and do some other things first. I should read through it again. And so, the 11th hour came, and I hastily transcribed these, and I am not 100% sure that these transcriptions are completely accurate.
Did you bring the original text with you? So
that's why we needed the transcriptions. The originals are not allowed to travel with us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. And there were some, there were some lists in there of things that other people needed to assemble, and I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. But it's probably not going to be fine.
80%, right?
I'm like,
it's the 80-20
like
rule.
80 to 60% sure that it's going to be fine.
So does she know? Or is it like,
no? I did not. I have not told her.
Cool.
I'm just coasting by the skin of my teeth here, and
we get to see this on screen.
So is she able to read the text well enough that if she gave it a good looking, she would know? Or is it not going to be until someone else or until we attempt to use the text that we'll find out? Like if she examined them, would she see the sloppy work?
I don't think that she knows all of these recipes and item lists by heart, which is why she wanted a copy to bring along so that she wouldn't have to remember. And so even if she looked over them, she would probably see that my penmanship is not at its best. But she's not gonna, we're not gonna know until
you try to use it. Yeah.
And so I'm just keeping my fingers crossed behind my back here.
I'm having all these like thoughts about what kind of recipes this could be, whether they be like engineering specifications or alchemical concoctions or cooking things. Do you have any like idea what this important thing is? Or
I mean, part of the problem was that these are documents that are way over my head. I am not skilled or trained yet, and so I really didn't know what I was copying. And so
what's the one thing that you're most worried she'll come across, right? Like some recipe or something she might use, either like a powerful like perfume she'll wear or something. Like what's the thing you're like, just please let her not get to this one,
Right. There were some that I know we're going to use, and I did prioritize those. I absolutely did. There are some that seemed like maybe they weren't going to come up or were just sort of fallbacks.
Sure.
And there are a couple of poultice recipes that I'm not sure on the measuring. And then there is one technical diagram that I had to copy for some kind of a machine. And I don't think it's right.
Your trigonometry might not be entirely.
There were a lot of gears and levers and things. I don't think I got it.
I mean, I call that risk assessment. Ash, you took the things you knew that would be used and you prioritized those. I mean, that seems, I think she'll understand. Or not.
She loves me and I love her. It'll be fine. We'll find a way. Love finds a way. Everything's gonna be fine.
We won't need that poultice recipe at all.
I think we'll be fine is a great just like mantra. We'll be fine.
Does anybody have any other questions? All right, next card.
Sorry, I jumped ahead because I heard the pause, but I'm happy to. What did you bring with you to protect the queen? Oh, I think I carry. I think let's see. I want to sort of build off of the what we've done. I feel like this queen is a very worldly person. She's like knows about lots of different cultures, and that she's sort of made lots of dealings with other people before going on this journey. It seems like she's very well prepared. Like Jen, I imagine that like whatever you provided her, whatever service or goods that you provided her, were something that she needed for this journey. Because you said that just happened like a few weeks ago, right? That was pretty recently.
Yep.
So I think I carry her. Yes, I am her her bookkeeper, which has a connotation of both holding like finances and secrets, because I think all bookkeepers like store the like secret, like the other sets of books that you don't share with other people, and in those includes like several letters of several promissory notes to lend service, because we know that we are traveling through very dangerous lands. And cook the books. Thank you. We're traveling through very dangerous lands, and she has prepared by making some allies that could come to our aid should we be in danger. And I have the various tokens that they have given her as like proof of them, that this bell is to be rung, or this firework is to be shot up into the air. And presumably, if the deal is as we think it should be, aid will come. And so I carry these sort of artifacts of that negotiation that she's done, and as well as like possibly written documentation that says it. But like the important thing is the physical object that will summon forth delicious books. Yeah, and I think that some of those might be unpopular in the court, so I keep these things secret so that nobody knows. The queen doesn't have to go around carrying the signs that she's made these deals. Yeah.
Does the queen know that you hold on to these things? Like, did she ask you to carry these metaphorically heavy things for her, or did you just take them?
Oh yeah, no, I think she definitely asked me to. Yeah, I think she's expecting. I think she's smiling and holding this chalice and looking like sort of nothing,
untethered.
Yeah, like she is like walking along and not carrying stuff, and I'm like holding all this stuff that is. Yeah. She can appear carefree because she has other people that she can trust to hold on to these things. Yeah, with mostly metaphorical weight, but maybe some physical stuff too. I can imagine myself being burdened.
As we kind of look at you on the road, are you like constantly like sweating bullets? Are you?
Yeah, I think so. I think like I'm imagining like the too large backpack of like various bits and baubles hanging
Mhm.
off, yeah, and that I might be the one that's like, I need to take a break. It's
Hmm.
too much stuff. Frequently overwhelmed by the weight of it all.
Do you ever let any of the rest of us help you? Do you allow us to carry some of it for you if one of us were to offer?
I think not. I think I'm
Such a good
protective
question.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Would we even be allowed to?
I think you could. I mean, ostensibly, I think like
Like you could
there's
grant us permission, right? But
right. Well, I mean, I feel like it's something that I try to keep secret, and I think that I'm probably not very good at it under like long. Like it's clearly
oh, gotcha.
like why do you have all this stuff? Like, oh, it's
Right.
just my things. No, don't look there. Like I think at some point the pack fell, it spilled open, and all these things like spilled out, and everybody saw them.
Did
And
you
I was like,
say you weren't supposed to see that?
yeah, exactly. And I was like furiously shoving them all back in, and just have been like very uncomfortable and awkward about it ever since.
Oh, no.
I've definitely created a song to remember all the little things that I've seen
Oh, nice.
that have spilled out of that pack.
Sean,
There
I
you
have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you carry anything that is like a secret that the queen doesn't know that you carry?
Yes.
You don't have to say what. I just wanted to know if you kept anything from the queen.
Yeah. I think I have an idea, which is that I think that I'm protective of her, and that there have been a few sort of her tokens that she has given people that I thought would use them in the wrong way, and I've taken them back, and I've held them so that nobody else can get their hands on them.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. Oh, it's me next.
It's you.
It's me next. I'm very excited about this. All right. What promise did the queen make you before this journey? Do you think she'll keep it? I think that the queen promised me like a prominent place in the new sort of setup that she brokers with the new place, right? I think I'm going to retcon just a little bit. I said I was a broker. I don't actually think that's true anymore. I think I'm actually an artist, right? I think I make jewelry because that's way more interesting to me. And yeah, so I think I'm the queen's personal jeweler, and she's promised to keep me on as her jeweler, and give me this prestigious position that would like pay a lot of money, and everybody would want my pieces. It'd be great. And I think she thinks that she'll keep it. I think I kind of understand that the way of these sorts of politics, like the country that we're going to may make that difficult for her. But I think she's on the level. I think she's going to do what she can, but I also am a little pragmatic about it. And also maybe I just don't want to get my hopes up too high. But yeah.
Was there something that happened that makes you in the past where she did like lead you on in a way, and like why, she came through with you before?
Yeah, that's
so like where's does that hesitance come from?
Yeah, I like that. I think maybe not her, maybe not her and I, but like her in a different situation where somebody was supposed to be set up as like the court painter or whatever.
Yeah,
and then there like a marriage happened, and it turned out to be somebody else. And so, and I think maybe I was friends with that artist, right?
Yep.
And I saw them go through this through no fault of their own, and the queen perhaps promised them, but then was sort of boxed out of being able to complete that promise.
That it's heavy as the crown, right? Like it seems like that's not a thing that she does lightly, but
Yeah.
It is nevertheless sometimes a
It
necessity.
is a heavy crown. I have studied it because I want to
You've
make the
studied
next
it.
one.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Is that like the big commission?
I think
love that.
so.
The big
Yeah.
thing?
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It'll be the like my life piece, right? Like my masterpiece.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, how could you? I love it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, are we going to like unite with this other land? And so you would want a new crown, right? Can't just have an old one.
Right.
Right. You can't use like last year's crown.
Yeah. Well, I think also secretly, like, I wonder if the queen has seen the crown of the place she's going to and doesn't like it.
Ooh, yeah.
So, like, ostensibly, I'm uniting the two places, but also I think the queen is just like, no, I need something prettier than that. Andy asks me on Twitch, what are some of the major themes or thematic elements present in my work? Which I love. That's a great question. I think, again, like repeating a mix of cut stones and uncut, like rough stones, and very like precise, specific lines in some places with like geometric patterns, but then also like sort of more organic lines. I think I use very pale gemstones, so like a lot of like pale pink, pale blue diamonds and stuff. Because this is a role-playing game and I can play with whatever materials I want.
Mhm.
Totally.
Yeah.
Are the uncut stones those that are sort of like naturally gorgeous, like geodes and quartz that have like beautiful sort of crystalline structures anyway?
I think it's actually like sort of a mix of those, right? Some of them look almost finished when they're rough, like geodes. But then you also get like a rough diamond doesn't look like a cut diamond at all. Like it just looks like a kind of clear looking stone, right?
Mhm.
Right.
It doesn't look special at all. But then if you cut it in a few very specific places, it turns into this amazingly sparkly thing.
Nice. I love it. And Andy, I missed your question earlier in chat because I was clicking things, but I will maybe answer it later when it's my turn.
Also, like that Rourke 9 said, that crown weighs like 10 pounds. It has a real strong neck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
All them gems.
A long lineage of strong-necked.
Right.
Ooh.
Nice. All right, I will
I love it.
delete that.
All right, I'm gonna draw one. I want art of that crown. I'm so into it.
Yeah, right. If we have anybody that does fan art,
Right.
like hanging out, just saying, this goes for the future of YouTube. Darcy wants it.
Goodness. The queen knows something about me that no one else does. What is it? Goodness, what a question. When people do passing, is that still referring back to my character?
No. So if you say, Ash, I would like to hear your answer to this question, then they'll answer it for themselves.
Cool.
So, or you can also exit if you're just like, I don't like. You can just exit because you're like, I don't really know the answer to that question. And that's totally cool too.
Fair. I think it's a really good question. I just didn't immediately have something, so I was like, oh, okay. Let me think then. Queen knows something about me that no one else does. I think it is. So I think, she's like a shrewd lady, our queen.
Yeah.
And she has secret keepers. She has people who keep the books straight, who keep the recipes straight. She's got a lot of resources at her disposal. So I'm thinking that like when I was chosen to accompany her from like my guild or whatever, like she already knew everything about the like 3 people picked to potentially accompany her. And she knew something about me at that point. So I'm trying to think of what it might be. And like, I'm imagining it's something she could kind of hold over me, right? Like I'm this person she's researched, but if I'm going to be in her retinue, I would want to know some blackmail over somebody. Maybe that just speaks to Darcy's inner psyche. But if I was queen, don't let me be queen, anyone. So I think it's something terrible my family or I did in the past that we've been trying to escape, right? Like there's been a renaming, there's been a lot of effort gone into like making a fresh start. And she dug deep enough to get to it and is like, this is the one I will choose, the one who I know I can like I have ultimate power over, right?
Right. If this secret came out, then your life would be very complicated, or you'd be in you tried, or it would be criminal or something. It seems like the queen is very worldly, and she's like connected with lots of other cultures. I know there's a card that says that the queen is not your queen, but I'm wondering, like, do you perhaps come from like a rival family line, like a rival lineage or something like that? Are you someone who might have, like, your family might have had claim to the throne at some point?
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's great. It was theoretically, killed out, and but there's still a quiet, offshoot lineage that would have claim if we went for it.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I love that is true, and it is also true that you love her.
I love her.
I just love that was one of the constants of the game.
You know that she knows this, right? Has she ever acknowledged this to you at all?
Oh, good point. Yeah, absolutely. But in like really subtle ways, right? I'm thinking like I love like fan language, right? And I'm not sure if we use fan language in our kingdom, but some kind of subtle like body language, or like maybe how she wears certain brooches, or like whether I'm thinking like how she wears her jewelry. Like at one point, certain times, like if I've displeased her or something, like she will move her jewelry to like indicate like
what.
Gosh, oh no! She like moves the brooch from one side to the other, or something like that.
I specifically know what that would mean, and it's
right.
So I think she absolutely knows. Maybe that's like the offshoot lineages where they would maybe place it or something, right. And so she's reckoning to that, and like. So we've never spoken of it. No words have ever been passed, but we absolutely both know.
Can I have an idea? I don't want to, like, it just came to me. I don't want to be too far, but like I can imagine as she's like giving us all of our positions or whatnot, that like one of the things that she might do is like dub us her servants or her retinue by like putting an article of jewelry made by her favorite jeweler, like give us an emblem or something like that. And I'm just imagining, what if she like started putting yours on the wrong side, and then was like, oh no, let me correct myself.
Goodness me, what was I doing?
That is the ultimate throwdown. Dang.
I don't know. Does that resonate with you? Is that
yes, very hard? Yeah. Especially since it's like an intimate thing, and she is reaching out to put it on me. Like that's, I feel like the power of that is even more spectacular.
Oh snap!
Yay!
Look at the power of your jewelry, Jad. Look at.
I have a question for you, Darcy. Was there also some element in the piece of jewelry that she had made for you that also references maybe like the crest or the family animal or something that just kind of sealed the deal, and you saw that she really put a lot of thought into this?
Yeah, I'm thinking like what about if it's like the leaf of a poison in the area, like the leaf or a flower of a poison, and either like it was an attempted assassination attempt by my family on her line via that poison, and so of course all of them were exterminated by it. So it's like it's this beautiful flower that is, related to the poison that caused the whole shenanigans.
That just looks pretty to people who aren't from the area.
Yeah,
but exactly. It's very significant.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I love that there's so many areas of culture and sophistication in this setting. So like I think I know a ton about her various secrets and dealings, but know nothing about brooch code. Like to me, it's like that's totally.
You don't know the brooch code,
right? And similarly, I don't think I know anything about like alchemical recipes and bolts. Like I think there's just. I feel like the level of education and like awareness is vast, and the queen knows parts of all of these things, but we don't necessarily know each other's stuff. And if we do, it's little snippets, right? It's not like, because there's just too much for one person to.
Unless you wear the crown, and then you.
And then you just got to know it all, right? You just gotta.
Oh, that's so good. Thank you. I really love what came together from that. I had nothing, so thank you.
That was lovely. Ken is saying, I imagine the queen who never speaks in words, just in jewelry symbols.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
I read a Twitter thread about the Queen of England and her brooches one time, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them and they are so good. I'm hoping I can find a link because they are.
Yeah. The shade that she threw 45 with her brooch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, so spot on. I like to think that our queen can throw some mad jewelry shade at people.
With a big smile. Big, you know, serene smile.
And everyone is too ashamed to actually say anything. So everyone thinks that she has only done this to them.
Oh,
people are just it's so perfect. It's just the stiletto right in that little gap that people don't want it. Their pride prevents anyone from sharing it. So no one knows that this is a thing that she just does.
So good.
The weapons she wields. And Ash, you are up, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so I will draw a card and then drag it onto here. All right. You were summoned to a private meeting with the Queen once. Why did you feel disappointed afterward? Oh yeah. Yeah, this it was supposed to be the end of my apprenticeship. It was supposed to be the meeting that said, all right, you have completed the training. It was interestingly, it was meant to be a brooch pinning ceremony. But when I came into the private meeting, I saw that she had by her side the velvet pillow, and there was no brooch on that pillow. And we didn't talk about it directly. We just, she had something else that she had called me in for. But once again, it was that little, just right in the right place. And I knew exactly what that meant. And I did not bring it up. But I left feeling deeply disappointed that I had not successfully completed my apprenticeship yet.
Did you ever? Have you completed it now?
Not as of yet. The next time that I was summoned to her, it was her asking me, giving me the assignment to make the copies of the documents. And
did you think that was going to be when you were pinned?
At first I thought that this was the last, that this was a final test, that this was a chance for me to make it up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then after I'd gotten started with it was when she told me, actually, you're coming along on this journey. And so you will be coming along as my apprentice, she said a little pointedly. And I said, yes, Your Highness. Thank you.
So did she, was she your mentor in this, or were you trained by somebody else, but she's the one who sort of approves?
No, she's just the one who, she's the one who makes the final decision. Mm-hmm. But it's based on the reports of my trainers, and I would assume that she looks at some of my work, but I'm primarily training under other people. I'm not exactly sure what exactly my role is, but I know I'm apprenticing as sort of I think it's a bit of a if it were in an office, it would be sort of like an administrative assistant kind of position where I do a lot of transcription of documents. I have to be able to understand the underpinnings of how things run in the palace and that kind of thing.
Are you like a calligrapher?
No, because it's not, I'm not illuminating documents. It's more,
Gotcha.
I'm making the copies that get scrapped at the end of the day. It's the lists of things, the more,
Gotcha.
Yeah, right. I'm not making the pretty ones. I'm doing the functionary stuff for sure.
Andy is yelling in chat, spy master, forgery, stabby, spy.
I am not a forger in the slightest, and I don't know why anyone would say that. I might be a forger. I very well might actually be training to duplicate documents.
Well, I mean, if the queen's not gonna give you that thing, you gotta do something.
I'm going to say I think there's actually a very good chance that is part of this. But in character, my character has no idea that that's what they're being groomed for.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, actually. Yes. Yes, I am being trained up to be able to make
Good.
yes, forged
love it.
documents.
Love it.
Stabby forger.
I have a question about like the language and the writing of this world that we're sort of living in. Are there
Yeah.
like multiple types of scripts? Are there like weird, cartouches or like assembled, is this like just straight up like, script or, it's if this is such
Yeah.
a role that she has multiple apprentices in, it seems really important and maybe that there's
Right.
some complexity there.
For sure. I'm actually I'm reminded of something I learned recently about guilds in our actual Earth history, where the different guilds had different handwritings, and so
Really?
this is similar to that. Yeah, it's so fascinating. I'll send you links later.
Please.
It's amazing. But so each of the different guilds and the different so like Jen's character, for example, writes in jeweler's script. Which is a lot of the words are intelligible to other practitioners. Especially common words are probably used fairly across the board, but there will be specific words and terms that are not only unfamiliar to someone outside of the field, but are written in a different way. And so my apprenticeship is learning how to read all of those different scripts. And how to translate them so that if a document comes, she can quickly call me instead of having to wait for a weaver or a metallurgist or a baker or whatever to be available. So that's definitely my job is translating these documents.
Wow. No wonder it's so like challenging and uncertain. You have to like sort of be a jack of all trades and master a lot of different fields to be able to do this. And we've just described how these fields are very difficult to like be strong in one if you're focused on another.
For sure. And a big part of it too is earning the trust of the guild masters that I'm studying under.
Right.
So that they will entrust me with the details that they would otherwise not share with someone who is outside of the guild. And so actually part of why my documents didn't get completed as quickly as they could have is that I was spending a little bit more time on kind of the fun socializing part, because I get a budget and I get to throw little parties because I have to
get into the hearts.
people. And so I've been getting a little bit too much into the hearts and the camaraderie, and kind of shirked my writing duties a little bit. Yeah.
I have so many questions about those parties, but that may be a little off topic, but I'm like so curious.
They were work parties, so they weren't as fun as they could have been, but it was more fun than transcribing documents, that's for sure.
That's fair.
Nice. I'm gonna move on.
All right.
Ash, that was so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh no, this card makes me so sad.
Oh,
There's cards that make me sadder, but this one, there's a part of you that does not want peace in this land. Why are you attached to the war? I think it makes me important. I feel like my role within the Queen's court is very much tied to her forging alliances and very much tied to her bringing together sort of disparate people that have a common enemy. And if that common enemy goes away, then not only is her need to forge these other alliances and like sort of building off what you're saying, Ash, like have all these connections to various guilds as well, like that necessity would also eventually wither. And I think therefore so would my usefulness to her. And although I love the Queen, I have not seen signs that she loves me. I don't know that she would keep me. I don't know that if I don't offer something of value, I don't know that I have value. And so like I'm all like, yeah, let's end the war, but there's just a part of me that's like, but let's hope maybe not too quickly.
But then what will I do?
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's
Have we come close? Have we had like a false start on peace before? And where you thought maybe like you were going to be out of a job and you got, real spooked or something?
I think so. I think I think I ordered my retirement jewelry from you. At one point, I ordered the pin of like your dunsies, like the
Alumni, yes.
yeah,
Oh my god.
and it was really out of place for me to do that. And I think it even created a bit of a kerfuffle in that, like, the queen should be the one to do it, and B, it maybe looked like I was quitting when it was just I was like in a real maudlin, sullen state, and it was just like, my life's over. Just, finish it off already. And I kind of wanted to if it was going to happen, I wanted to hurry it along as quickly as possible. I didn't want it to be this long protracted thing where the queen like keeps me on until I'm utterly of no use at all. I wanted to be like, cool, here. I was basically getting ready to offer my resignation to her. I was getting, I had the resignation pin, right? I'd ordered it, right? And then it was like, oh no, shit. There's an attack on the Western Front and it's back on. And, and I think I hid that pin away, and never showed it to her.
I was going to say, who has the pin now?
Oh no.
I mean, you're the jeweler. I feel like you must have it, right?
Unless you paid me for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. What's more interesting, for me to have it as one of the secrets that I keep from her? It's one of the.
Did you throw it down a well?
Very yes. Or is it one of the items in Darcy's song?
That's so good. It may be one of the items in your songs, but it is definitely thrown down a well. Thank you. That's perfect.
I love that.
Yeah, nice. I was, because I think I'm a little bit manic in that way, that it's like as like low as I was the moment I thought I had a purpose again, I was like, awesome, let's go. Like I am very, very like eager to serve. So yeah, for sure. It was like, what was I thinking?
Throwing a priceless pin down into a well.
Absolutely. A priceless pin that made me feel like a failure.
Yeah, that's true.
So
there's a really wonderful comment in chat from Fictional Mammal. The sorrow of a generation that knows no worth other than their ability to wage war. I have some thoughts about that.
Thank you, Andy. That is real sweet. Yeah.
It is real and sweet.
Yeah, it is a good reminder that one of the premises of this game is we have been at war as long as any of us have been alive. So that I think for me, the notion that there's that I have value outside of it is non-existent.
I have a question. I think your character's in an interesting position where they carry these promissory notes and they carry these flags that get sent up that give us safe passage. You're in a position where you could influence the fact of whether we stay at war or whether the tensions rise or fall. Have you ever thought about, have you ever acted upon just happening not to throw that flare quite in time? And have you played with that tension that lies within your power to sort of keep us in a little bit embroiled, a little things uneasy, unconsciously or consciously, I suppose?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question, Darcy. And I feel like it's sort of human nature that to some degree I must have. Like, I don't think I could be honest in saying that, like, I haven't, even if I've lied to myself and said, and even if I've made excuses for it and told myself it was for other reasons, or I didn't acknowledge it for what it really was, I don't know that I've like outright staged an attack, right? Like, I don't think I've tried to make things more dangerous for us, but I think I've got a bias towards this, and that bias affects me. And so there are ways in which my judgment has been affected by that. And I think as humans do, I've used the power sort of at my disposal, and maybe not always for the best of the Queen's interests, which if I had to confront would cause me great shame. But I think I'm pretty good about lying to myself about that.
Nice.
Thanks, Phantom Roll Booth. I like this overlay too. It's designed by Fred.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. That's a really good
Mhm.
and
Wow.
and Hurdy. Question, Darcy.
Awesome. You saw the queen do something terrible to keep the retinue safe. What was it? And did I
Wow.
come to respect her more or less afterwards? What did she do that was terrible that kept us safe? Hmm.
Jen, do you want to think on that for a second while we go
I
to
would
our first
love
break?
to.
Because
Yes.
I just realized
Oh,
it's about
great.
that time.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
perfect. Cool, everybody. We're gonna go on a quick little break. We're gonna grab some water, think about some questions and things like that, and we'll be back soon. So see you all in a minute.